Kia ora guys, it's our 30th episode, 30th, and we're giving away free tea to the...
So if you tune in and watch all the way to the end, you can find out how to get some Aussie Waffle tea.
Welcome to Gregorian Chat.
So, good morning.
Welcome!
To Gregorian Chat, it's episode 30. What the heck?
We've hit
I just realised.
the big 3-0.
Big 3. Oh. Actually, we should do something special.
We should.
Yeah. So it's episode 30. It's going to be a good one. We're talking about politics. It's very relevant right now.
Yeah, topical. Gonna keep topical.
Well, what's the title?
The title is How Catholics Should Vote.
No puns, alright?
No.
Make one out of it.
How Catholics should vote. No, I'm not thinking
Well, we'll come up with something later on. But it's going to be good. Obviously, there was the leaders' debate yesterday in the news. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not a political person. I don't do politics. I'm just a student.
No. Mm-hmm.
Probably doesn't affect me anyway. Or maybe you're not even old enough to vote. But I suggest that you listen in because we're basically just going to be giving some advice on, Catholic advice to Catholic people.
Yeah,
really.
what we're not going to be doing is saying you should vote for this party or that party. We can't do that. It's up to you.
Exactly. But we have dressed, to try and represent some of the different stuff going on there. Obviously, Dom is all in blue,
Yes.
and I am mostly red. My underwear is red, I'll have you know.
Nice.
But I also bought a teddy bear who's got his little red shirt on here. I'm not saying I'm a red... we're just trying to represent everyone,
We're just
right?
representing everybody.
And so I mean, if we basically give it a fair go, as you would say. So this little teddy bear's got his knife.
And here's the greens.
It's a red knife, and then anyway, we chose some teas that were hopefully appropriate for this as well.
Yes. What do you have, Dom?
Mine is called Red, Green, and Dreamy. It's kind of like a salute to, not a salute to, but just kind of poking fun at the fact that the reds and the greens now are just in the shambles, man.
Yeah, and I've got Blue Mountain because it's been 3 terms of blue. So it's like,
That's good.
Can the reds and greens conquer this mountain?
Can they conquer?
Can they put their flag on the peak?
Or will it just be Winston Peters?
Who knows? Who knows?
But essentially, it's kind of just like, should we be nonchalant? We can't be What is chalant?
We need to be chalant, whatever that
We
is.
need to be chalant as heck.
But I think what we first need to do is pour out this tea.
Oh, of course. But I've often thought about that. You've got like nonchalant.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be chalant? Like you never hear him saying, "What did you think of that guy that we just interviewed?" Oh, he was pretty good, but he was like too chalant, man.
He was chalant as.
What does your one smell like?
It smells a bit sweet.
They said it was like an Earl Grey or something, eh?
Yeah, it's like a soft Earl Grey.
Soft Earl Grey. And Red, Green, and Dreamy is a rooibos, if that's what you're into. Anyway, why don't we move on to
the topic.
Is the topic. So the first thing that I kind of saw when I searched, how should Catholics vote, was this whole series of videos, which was like, should Christians vote?
Oh.
Question mark. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that there were much more videos about that rather than how to do so.
Yes.
So we thought we'd probably start with that question.
Very good question.
Should we vote? I mean, are we better off not voting? And a lot of people would say, actually, I don't want my vote to be wrong and contribute the wrong way.
There is that fear, but don't let fear make any decisions for you because that will always be a bad decision you've made.
And that's just a good bit of life advice.
Just
really.
life advice right there, straight from Gregorian Chat. You heard it here first, unless you heard it somewhere else
It's
first.
a fair way from a lie.
Yeah. So we should be getting involved. We were called to be in the world, not of the world, but this is part of being in the world.
I mean, yeah, like if we took that really literally, right? Jesus' words, be in the world but not of it. And you might say, okay, well, politics is of the world, therefore I won't get involved in it. But it's like the results of a lot of politics and the legislature and these things is that you get things like healthcare, like you get ACC, right? So, if you were truly going to live up to that
don't be in the world.
Don't be in the world, then you would refuse ACC. It's like, well, that's something of the world.
That's part of it. If I've engaged with that, I am being of the world. Therefore, I'm not having any benefits of politics whatsoever.
You'd basically be like a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, and if that's your jam, I mean,
you probably need some peanut butter to level you out.
You.
But anyway, it's just the inner Catholic coming out. So thinking about we live in a democratic society.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, before we go on, like, we're not even going to pretend to be educated in politics or anything really.
No, not at all.
Just as normal, we do podcasts on stuff that we don't know about. But this is, I was thinking about this because it's like, well, if you think I'm not going to vote, because I don't want to make a wrong decision. Well, It's like, okay. If you don't want to contribute to a democratic society, then why should a democratic society contribute to you?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Because the whole point of democracy is, and it doesn't always live up to this, right? Is that it's government for the people, by the people. And so if you don't want to participate in that, then it's like, well, you're kind of going against democracy in general anyway.
Yeah, and then also if the government makes a call that you don't agree with, or that treats you badly, or someone you love badly, then it's like, well, then you didn't help stop that either. If in my favourite phrase, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
He says it every day when he wakes up.
Every day.
I just don't know about that. I wonder how Jess feels about that.
She loves it.
Because she knows she's part of the solution.
That's why.
That's right.
Yeah. Salient.
Yeah. So in short, should I vote as a Christian? Yes.
Yes. Or even if you're tall, you should vote as well.
If you're tall?
You said in short. Carry on. You should definitely vote. You should definitely get out there and get engaged with the society we live in.
That's right. I mean, and Jesus said, "Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's." Right. So it's like, okay, don't be a douchebag to the powers that be just for the sake of it. That being said, like, we don't have to vote in a Caesar. Like, if we get a chance to vote in. Then it's like, okay, well, using the analogy, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, if Caesar's in power, but you don't have to make Caesar come into power.
Yeah. You just have to give him the vote.
That's right.
Well, you have to give your right the vote.
So yeah, in short, you need to vote. It's your responsibility as a citizen.
We now know that we should vote as Christians and as Catholics. So how should we vote? Well, we have the beautiful thing is we do have this guide. As people of faith, we have like a moral obligation to uphold and to live up to, and to bring about as much as we can in society. And we have the Catholic Church to guide us. Now, again, the Church isn't going to say, you should vote for this guy, because, it's about us living our faith. And in living our faith, we need to be engaging with it, which means we need to be engaging with, issues that are going around, things that politicians are saying. And so we need to be informed. And I suppose that's what, the Church will encourage us to do, is to be informed and to get involved with, find out who your local MP is, find out what they stand for, and, just be informed.
That's right.
Get learnt.
So I guess the key is, like I said before, not being nonchalant. The key is being chalant and not being apathetic about it and saying, okay, it doesn't affect me. Because ultimately it does, but as well, like, if you have a chance to make a vote that can protect the vulnerable or the poor and needy, or can make your country more stable, then it's like you should actually do that. And so to the best of your abilities. So yeah, the Catholic Church will never tell you which party to vote for, but it does say here are the principles, right? So I guess it's the best thing we could do is just start off with what are those principles? Yeah. Right. And so in a sense, it's like, a conscience vote isn't, I think, technically what voters like us have. It's what politicians have. So a conscience vote is, whether someone in a party gets the choice of whether or not they can support or...
However, voting with your conscience is always a good idea.
Exactly. I mean, that's why we've been given it, right?
Yeah, God gave us a conscience. And so, like, looking at things that, are Catholic, are, like, Christ-like. Looking after the vulnerable, those that don't have a say. So, that's people like the homeless, the people that don't have jobs, the unborn, the elderly. these people are, increasingly having their voices quieted, and so we need to be able to speak up for them.
That's right.
The environment as well would fit into that category, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Trees can't talk for themselves, so, and New Zealand does have this very green image, and I think it's a beautiful one.
Red, green, and dreamy.
Red, green, and dreamy.
So there's the environment. There's also this, subsidiary working for families to be able to support themselves. The family is the building block of I guess any good society.
Yeah.
Right. And so that needs to be upheld. Other things, I guess, like transport, immigration is a huge one. It's been very relevant because of Syrian refugees and all kinds of other things as well.
Oh, yeah, just like the massive immigration into New Zealand.
There we go. So there are all these issues, right? And I think Catholics will often, I don't know if I say, fall into the trap of there are two issues you vote on. There's being pro-life and being against gay marriage.
Yes.
Okay? And it's like, well, those are two big issues.
Yes.
But that's not like, if that's all that government did, we'd have
it's just not Catholic, just voting on two things, because Catholic Church encompasses everything.
Universal.
Man. So we need to be Catholic about our voting, which means we need to take as much into consideration as possible. And here comes a tip of what to look out for. The tip of my nose. Now, the problem that I find with politics is often, politicians are like experts in trying to get you to vote for them. And so they portray a very good image. And so it's like, I really like that person, I'm going to vote for them. Why? Oh, they spoke to me nicely, and they present themselves well, and they're quite funny, and they've got great banter, and it's like, yes, but they're killing everybody. I don't know if that's the case. But so don't get, by all means, enjoy the banter and stuff, but pay attention to the underlying issues. And a well titled policy might have terrible ramifications in the future. So we need to, when we see a policy that we think, actually that's a really good policy, I like that, it's going to promote infrastructure, it's going to save all the homeless people. So okay, how are they going to do that? It's like we're gonna create great infrastructure, but we're going to put a 60% income tax on everybody. It's like, okay, that's a bad idea. You know? So we need to look into the future, because it's like if we have a good infrastructure but a crippled nation, it's no good. Or if we have a policy that works for a few years, then the 10 years after that it crumbles. Yeah,
it's definitely I guess the hype, right? Is another thing to be wary of. And I'm not necessarily siding with any party here, but just the fact of this election is, the Jacinda Ardern thing is that now everyone's on this hype of okay, she's new, change is good. National's been for 3 years, that's long enough. May as well change it. And I'm not necessarily saying, no, don't change it, vote for National, but it's just think about it twice. Don't just vote for charismatic figures. Don't just vote for her because she's a woman. Don't just...
it's not change for change's sake.
Exactly. And you kind of... you've got to think about how you can be consistent as well, and what the big game is. Don't be naive about how you can actually use your vote in a certain place. So don't just vote for charismatic figures. Donald Trump managed to get in.
But then again, I suppose is the opposite of that as well. It's don't just vote. I've always voted for National, so I'm just going to carry on voting for National. Or National have been in for 3 terms, they're doing fine, let's just vote for them. Or so don't just fall into our own laziness or our own overexcitedness.
That's right. The other thing I was going to say is that something to think about when we vote is who are we actually voting for? Should we always vote for the things that are going to benefit us the most, or should we vote in the way that's going to make the biggest change to a different group? And then so it's okay, well, as Christians, if we're going to be voting for any other different group, who would that be? And you kind of think, okay, well, it would be the downtrodden. It would be those who, like you said, have less of a voice. And so I guess that might naturally take you down the path to kind of think, okay, Labour would be the way to go, or I don't actually know who else would. And this the thing is there may be Greens have 4% now, but you might still want to vote for them. But kind of thinking, okay, well that's like policies are one thing, and the way that they are enacted is another. And kind of thinking if they can't actually back up these policies.
Exactly. What's the point?
Yeah, and I just know, I realise I'm kind of sounding unlike Labour right now because I'm sounding more like National, but it seems like it wasn't that long ago that the Labour Party was like in complete tumult, and it was just like there's no direction, there's no purpose.
Right.
And then last night you saw that they've gone up huge in the polls. Jacinda Ardern is actually speaking at the University of Auckland today.
Yes.
1 to 1:30.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't want to get too much into like whether or not you should vote for a certain party. But the Catholic Bishops of New Zealand did create a booklet,
yes,
which can help you to kind of find out what are the big things that make you and you have to find out like what are the things that make you tick. You know, like what are the issues that you stand up for the most.
And I think another thing is I've heard a lot of people say, I really want to vote for this party, but I don't think they're going to get in, so that'd be a wasted vote. And it's like, well, I don't think so, because if everyone thought like that, then no one would ever get in, no one would get the vote. And so it's like, I'm voting for Trump because I actually prefer this guy, but he's so far down, he's never going to get in. It's like, yeah, but you don't agree with this guy, so I'm not going to, don't vote for him just because he's he's less worse than everybody else. Follow the Catholic teaching and stuff like that, which again we'll post that link that the bishops have put on so you can peruse through it. Also, was it Family First?
Yeah,
they put forward this pretty good flyer. There's a link to that, and there's all these quizzes.
So it's called like Who Values What I Value, something like that. Yeah,
and there's like heaps of them. So I mean, we'll put a couple of them links in the title, but use these things, but don't use them as absolutes. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I've done this quiz and it says I should vote for New Zealand first, so I guess I should. It's like, although I don't like Winston Peters and I don't agree with most of his policies. But like, it's like, okay.
Well, I am an immigrant and I'm going to get kicked out if he gets
Yeah. So, use these quizzes to help you get more informed, rather than going through every website you can.
I was thinking about this as well, and I'd be interested to know what you guys think, because it's like I saw a video where a guy said politics doesn't affect the kingdom of God, right? It doesn't, like, whoever gets voted in, that's not going to change God's plan for the earth and for the reign of God. I was talking about this with Sister Helen just before. It's like, do you think that's true? Do you think that it doesn't actually matter who you vote in terms of how God can work in your country?
Right.
Because I was thinking, like, surely, I mean, there's God's will, right? But he also lets us make our own decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say that God is like at the mercy of human beings, but kind of thinking, okay, let's imagine, hypothetical guys, putting the pathetic in hypothetical, and say, what if we all voted for, let's say, Conservative Party, they got 10%, like what if every Catholic who really wanted to use their conscience voted for Conservative Party, they got 10%, they got into Parliament, they were able to put in a bunch of bills into the ballot, that one of them got picked out. There was actually another vote, and the vote came out in a morally positive way. It's like, well, would that be contributing to the reign of God? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that's limiting it too much. So like, the reign of God is only when good things happen. I mean, because you look at the Book of Kings, God allowed lots of bad people to come in because he allowed the Babylonians to take over and stuff like that. And like, he hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he wouldn't listen to Moses and stuff. So,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's not for us to say, I don't think, on that kind of level.
But then there's also, I think, this kind of like Christian defeatism, which is, you read the book of Revelation and you look at politics, you look at the state of the world and you think, actually the world's getting worse. This is what it's supposed to do according to the book of Revelation.
We should help it get worse.
Yeah. So I think just think about that, and just think about, okay, I honestly don't know the answer, so I have to think about it a bit more, but think about, like, am I trying to further the kingdom of God with my vote? Can I further the kingdom of God with my vote or not? But most importantly, don't be lazy, don't be apathetic, don't be naive.
Be as well informed as you can, and just get out there and use your right and vote.
Okay, so you've been wondering this whole time, how do I get the tea? Well, what you got to do is you've got to actually share the post, and you've got to comment with your thoughts on the selection,
And then
on
you'll
how.
go- and then you'll go into the draw to win the tea. So
That's
we'll
right.
pick that out and we'll post
So
that.
Aussie Wattled Breakfast Singers New Zealand Air Collection.
Yeah, why not?
Thanks for joining us for the podcast.
God bless.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Make sure that you check us out on our YouTube channel, Auckland Catholic Tertiary Chaplaincy.
You can also find us on Facebook.com/The Chaplains.
And our Instagram account, which is Auckland Catholic Chaplaincy.
We're also now on iTunes. Just search up Gregorian Chat.
Boom.
That's right.
Thanks for listening.
God bless.